Most of us go living our lives without witnessing any so-called miracles, which are really just coincidences. It's only normal that they're far too rare to manifest in the real world and depends entirely on probability or a lot of factors lining up at the same time. But there are plenty of people out there who've seen crazy things happen in real time and were lucky enough to capture them on video. Here are 1 in a million coincidences caught on camera. Yes, these are real. While you're here, be sure to smash the like button, subscribe and click the notification bell for more such amazing content. Rock stars have a larger-than-life persona. They need to have it since it complements the world they live in and people adore them for it. But rock stars are just humans behind all the stardom and fame. They're not gods, or are they? Maybe this clip might make you think otherwise. Musician John Coffey was with his fans when suddenly a cup of beer comes flying out of nowhere. The cup soars through the air so perfectly there was no spillage. Coffey catches the cup, drinks from it as if it was normal and expected, and just carries on. He's just elevated his rock star status to new heights. We've all heard of beginner's luck. Most of us have experienced it at some point in time, but no amount of beginner's luck can explain this incident. You probably need to have the blessings from the great bowling gods to make this happen. The girl throws a gutter ball from pretty much the start. The ball rolls through the gutter lane, but something happens to it at the last moment. The ball jumps out of the gutter and back into the center of the lane and gets a clean strike. No one saw it coming. What a strike of luck. Here's an example of how a coincidence can last a substantially long time. Marcus Ambrose loses a wheel mid-race and what happened next surprised everyone. Marcus pulled over to the side, but the wheel kept going down the track, almost as if it had a will of its own. On top of that, the wheel moved in a manner that it didn't come in the way of the other racers. It ultimately decides to come to a stop after parking itself on top of other tyres. This wheel clearly dreams of winning the race in spite of detaching from the car. Check this video out. It looks so convincing, and that's because it is. It was just good timing. This player was giving an interview and in between was trying to swat a fly away, but the timing was so perfect. The swatting of the hand matched with the stadium light being turned off. The resulting image looked like he literally turned it off with his hands. If it was a second later or earlier, this whole illusion wouldn't have worked. What an amazing coincidence. Racing tracks are volatile environments. A lot of things can go wrong at any moment. But sometimes a few of these wrong moments can pull off such a stunt. Two of the bikes somehow managed to get their handlebars locked together. This unexpected turn of events led the two bikes into spinning in circles on the track. Both the racers tried to stop it, but with no luck. The bikes had other plans and continued dancing in circles. It's almost romantic if you think about it. It looks like a beautifully choreographed dance between two lovers. Who knew that just such a simple hat is enough to pull off a hat trick? A man is seen running and does a clean front flip, and upon landing, his hat flies off. Amazingly, the hat ends up landing on his head perfectly as he was moving away. It's like both him and his hat have been practicing this routine for months, and they knew before their part. It might just be coincidence, but it looks practiced and intentional. What do you think? Let us know in the comments. Imagine you're out for shopping in a mall and casually browsing around when you see something that stops you dead in your tracks. Well, someone, to be specific. You come across your doppelganger. This is exactly what happened to these girls who randomly crossed each other's paths. Would you be excited or creeped out to meet your doppelganger? Sometimes coincidences can be forced if you attempt something as many times as possible to improve the probability. Toss a coin long enough, you might just get it to fall upright on the floor. Here's a real example. This guy manages to achieve this impossible feat. He throws a playing card and somehow it manages to spin and curve right into the space between the clothespin. Coincidence? Probably, but he must have done this so many times until he got it right. Or he's incredibly skilled to make this happen at will. Which one do you think? Here's a scenario where you're hoping for something good, but things don't go as planned. Baden Kerr is doing his thing and kicks the ball while on the field. The ball, however, goes completely off the intended path and hits the goalpost. Disappointed Baden Kerr looks at what unfolds and the ball surprisingly bounces back and falls right into his hand. That was unexpected, but Baden remains totally indifferent as if this was normal. Well, maybe in his world it is. When you expect a lot but reality takes it to a new level. Here's a clip that makes you go, no way. This one is impossible, and yet it happened. A boy kicks a ball with hopes of scoring a goal, but he misses the goalpost by a huge margin. The ball, however, had other plans and flies off the playground and smoothly glides through an open window of a passing car. you have a better chance of scoring a goal than that. So this kid is a lot luckier than we first thought. I wonder what was going through the mind of the driver. Being good at a sport requires years of practice and solid dedication, but I wonder how much practice was required to make this happen. Matt Joyce was having his regular practice session with a pitching machine when he strikes and does the unthinkable. The ball flew from the bat and straight back into the receptacle of the pitching machine. What are the odds of that? Not very high for sure. Not even the guy next to the machine noticed this rare spectacle. Matt carries on with indifference like most professional players. They've seen it all. Sometimes professional players are in the zone even when not playing. It's like they've achieved a level of intuition which surpasses normal humans. This surely seems to be the case in this situation. Two football players are seen walking and the one in the front starts clapping. The player behind him passes the ball at the right moment and it lands snugly between his clapping hands. Incredible, right? You almost feel like slowing it down and watching it over and over again to make sense of the craziness. Maybe God wills certain events to potentially save someone from a catastrophe. An earthquake in Anchorage, Alaska managed to destroy the whole road except for the small patch where the car was in. It's pretty amazing how everything around the car got completely wrecked. Imagine being inside the car while it was happening and praying you make it out alive. Clearly, their prayers were answered. What are the chances of seeing a Lamborghini on the street? Not that high, but possible. What about two Lamborghinis of the same color? Pretty darn rare, but still not beyond the realm of possibility. But what about two Lamborghinis of the same color that crash into one another? That's got to be next to impossible. But it happened, and it's a pity to see such expensive cars bashed up. Skateboard wipeouts are notoriously painful to watch. There are a ton of videos online of people falling flat on their faces or on their crown jewels. But not all has to end in a disaster. This one was actually impressive in spite of it being a wipeout. The skateboarder falls off and the skateboard is seen rolling off into the group of passers-by. But what's most surprising is how the board smoothly rolls past not one but between two people's legs and doesn't cause any accident the whole time. That's way cooler than your usual skateboarding tricks. The playing field is the perfect environment for witnessing coincidences. In this case, Brian Dozier strikes for a home run, but the plan didn't quite pan out as he'd hoped. The ball actually gets stuck on a small crevice on the outfield wall. It was an incredible stroke of luck which got the ball stuck there, but also incredibly unlucky as well, since the umpire went in favour of the opposing team. It's a shame because if there was a sport about getting baseballs stuck on a wall, Brian Dozier would have won that game easily. Free publicity is great. Leave it to coincidences to take on the role of your publicity manager. These two trucks somehow managed to drive down the same road at the same time while next to each other. What you have here is free marketing for Taylor Swift's brand, and it didn't cost her a penny. Pretty good deal. Good things happen to people who wait, and also people who sit, apparently. During a baseball match, a foul ball comes flying up the stands and towards a woman sitting, but instead of it hitting her straight in the face, the ball gently lands into a cup of beer. The strange coincidence is met with a loud cheer from the crowd, and she seems quite happy with the whole thing. She walked out of this game with a memory she'll never forget. Here's an incredible miracle that defies all explanation. A truck is seen transporting boxes of styrofoam on a highway when suddenly one of the boxes falls off the moving vehicle. What happened next was totally inexplicable. The styrofoam box miraculously bounces off the road and back into the moving truck. Okay, one time is still believable, but this happened twice. Pretty crazy, but worked out well for the truck driver. He sure would have been in a tizzy upon finding out that a few boxes had gone missing upon delivery. Coincidences can sometimes save lives or save a lot of money, but there is no way of knowing which way it'll go. In this case, luck was in favour of the owner of this car. Not only did the tree almost fall on the car, it also had a natural bend that mirrored the curve of the car, which completely avoided crushing it. If it were a few feet further, this would have been a different story altogether. And that's a wrap. Hope you enjoyed these one-in-a-million coincidences caught on camera. Which was your favourite? Go ahead and let us know in the comments. If you enjoyed the content, be sure to hit the like button, share and subscribe. See you later.